It can be really time consuming to edit the videos inside our digital courses, trying to make them more engaging for our students. Videos are a really important part of digital courses, but that doesn't mean that they have to cost you a ton of time and money to create and edit. Thank goodness, engaging videos aren't really about our editing skills at all. Today, I'm going to share with you 5 tips for editing your video content to be more engaging for your students. These are the same tips and techniques that I've been using for over 15 years in my courses, and none of them involve actual video editing. By the end of this episode, you'll walk away with 5 new ways to engage your students in your video lessons. After all, video editing really doesn't engage your students. It's the content, it's the presentation that draws them in and keeps them learning. So let's jump into what really matters. And the 4th tip that I'm going to talk about today can sometimes create angst for course creators. So at the end of the episode, I'm going to share my favorite ways to make a course more accessible for any type of learner. One of the biggest concerns that course creators have, myself included, is how to ensure that students finish the course and then put the learning into action. I'll let you in on a secret. Not only is our student engagement not about the actual video editing, it isn't about dripping the course, and it's not about adding implementation weeks. It is ideas that go beyond the surface level hacks and tricks. And for today's episode, I want you to kind of join this path with me, and let's keep an example flowing the whole way through so that you can see how these tips really work. So I want you to imagine that you're a course creator who helps women find their style, because as much as we wish it weren't true, we are judged by our appearance, everyone is, in those first few seconds, and our clothes should allow us to shine, not hold us back. You have some amazing students who are ready to dive into your course, and you want to make sure that they will stay present, they'll stay engaged, they'll take action, and actually finish the course. So let's talk through those 5 concrete actions that we can take to boost engagement and course completion, because we know that when our students finish the course, they experience success and they become our best ambassadors. Let's jump in. First up, one of my favorite tips to make a course video more engaging and the course itself more engaging is the advanced organizer. This might be a new term for you, but I guarantee you'll know what I'm talking about here in a moment. The advanced organizer is essentially like an agenda that's being handed out before a meeting. It gives the student a chance to know what to expect. This is something that we used all the time when I was creating trainings for organizations or for certification programs. We always found, and the research backs this up, that when students had access to an advanced organizer, they had an easier time putting into practice what was being taught, because they could create their own frameworks in their mind for what to expect. It allowed them to make easier connections with the content, they had a more thorough understanding, and it was easier for them to take action. In a course that focuses on creating a personal style, an advanced organizer might look something like this. In this lesson, we are going to start with a discussion on what components are part of your personal style. This will allow us to do a self-analysis to determine which areas we would like to focus on first. Then we'll talk through some practical considerations on the cost of updating your personal style and how to make the most of what you already have in your closet and bathroom. Each step of the way, you'll have the chance to pause the lesson and reflect on what you've learned. The key is to take action each step of the way. As you can hear, an advanced organizer like this doesn't take a whole lot of time or effort, but it has a really big impact on our students' success. It isn't enough to just provide an advanced organizer for our students. We also have to create a personal connection with them. And that brings me to tip number 2. Creating an engaging course video is going to hinge on our ability to incorporate stories into the lesson content. And this can make a lot of us tense up. What if storytelling isn't your forte? All you can think of is that high school composition class and counting the days until it was over. I felt the same way until I learned that all stories follow the same arc or same pathway. There is a problem that's introduced, then there's some kind of tension as to what might happen, there's a solution, and then there's some success, most often. That's it. In fact, if you were to, and this might ruin TV shows for you, if you were to watch a TV show tonight, a movie, any drama of any kind, you'll see these exact same elements. It's a formula, and that's it. It's a formula. So you can write a story. You can incorporate stories into your course. It's a formula that we follow. And the reason this is so important is that stories allow us to connect with one another in a more personal way. And it creates that connection even if we are coming to our students through a recorded video. In fact, I want you to think back. Did you relate to the beginning of this podcast where I mentioned that you don't have to be really great at video editing? What about right now when I just reminded you of that high school composition class where you were counting down the days? These are all story elements. These are all pieces of story that are designed to build a connection, to create some camaraderie, to create that relationship. Now let's think about a course on personal style. The course creator can easily create a story of walking into their closet, being frozen in front of a wall of choices, maybe not knowing what outfit to choose for an interview. And so incorporating a story might sound something like this. I can remember walking into my closet to get dressed for my interview, and I had some great options. But at that moment, I had no idea what to pair together so that the committee would see me as the authority and the best choice for the position. I was frozen because I didn't really understand how to create a personal style that created the image I wanted to project. Now, when I walk into my closet, understanding color, understanding all of the theory behind style, I know exactly what pieces to choose for what occasion. And you can feel the same way, even if it doesn't feel like that at this exact moment. In fact, I just got a text from a student who said that she felt really confident walking into a meeting because she knew that her outfit would send the right message and set the stage for the message that she had prepared to deliver. In this story, the course creator is sharing a personal moment that their students can really relate to, and the solution of learning what pieces to choose, what are the style elements. They're also sharing the success that is possible if they keep going through the course. These kinds of stories can be powerful during a launch, during the course, pretty much any time, including your social media. Whether you're telling stories inside your course, in your student emails, they can become even more powerful when you pair them with tip number 3. Now remember, tip number 1 was to incorporate an advanced organizer or a planner of sorts. Tip number 2 was to use stories, and now here we are at tip number 3. When you're designing a course, we have to provide an opportunity to reflect during the learning process. Our students need pauses to think as they learn. One of the best ways to create a pause when we aren't sitting in the same room as our students is to ask reflection questions. And this works too, even when you're in the same room. You just have a little bit more control over them pausing in the content when you're together. So if you're over a video course, ask your students reflection questions. Invite them to pause the video while they're thinking, while they're writing. The research is really clear on this. Even taking a minute or two to pause is going to increase engagement in the learning process, and it helps students to retain that information that's being shared. Win, win. Improved engagement, improved retention. And of course, both of those will lead to improved action. I will never forget when I was delivering my first course and seeing my students' eyes glaze over in a live class. I had talked too long. The very next class, we broke up those talking segments, kind of the lecture-y part of the class, with opportunities to ask questions, to think about what the information meant, even to journal some questions and aha moments. My students started participating more. They asked more questions that showed they were really thinking through the content, and best, they were smiling. They were enjoying the content in a new way. Now, in a personal style course, this could look like a video that addresses how to pair colors, where we deliver the content and then invite the student to think about how they have used color in the past. Did it follow the quote-unquote rules that we have just discussed? Did it break the rules? How did they feel in that outfit? You could take it even further and ask the students to imagine their favorite outfit. How do the color rules apply to that outfit? What are some takeaways about how that outfit truly works for them, or what adjustments they might want to make or consider making? The key to building in reflection is to recognize that not everyone, likes to journal. Everyone has an opinion on journaling. Not everyone likes to journal. We have to offer multiple ways for that reflection to happen. And it might be talking to someone else, just sitting and thinking it through. It could be writing down the answers or even voice recording some thoughts based on questions that you provide. By adding different opportunities for reflections, you are also acknowledging that everyone learns and processes differently and at different rates. Now, tip 1, as a reminder, was to use an advanced organizer or agenda of sorts. Tip 2 was to use stories throughout all video lessons. Tip 3 was all about slowing down the consumption of content with reflection points to improve retention and action. Now on to tip 4. When thinking about what materials to include and highlight during your digital course lessons, keep in mind that each student comes to us with different learning styles and needs. Imagine going to a buffet, and on the buffet, there was only romaine lettuce. That buffet is only going to serve people who love romaine lettuce, can eat romaine lettuce, and who would love a meal filled with romaine lettuce. I suspect that would probably limit their popularity as a go-to buffet, right? We can apply this same concept to our course materials. If we have a course filled with direct-to-camera shots, where we're lecturing the students, they just see us talking on the video, we are catering to an auditory learner, those students who learn better by hearing something. Students who prefer and learn best with auditory lessons only make up a percentage of our students. So if that's all we're doing, we're leaving a whole section of our students behind. It doesn't mean you should never use direct-to-camera shots in your course where you're the only thing on the screen. You want to have variety, but you do want to incorporate some other things as well. For example, you could put important bullet points up on the screen, either in a slide, or if you do happen to like video editing, maybe you have a template that creates space for you on one side and a space for the bullets on the other. This is going to serve your visual learners more effectively. Now, serving our tactile and kinesthetic learners can be a little bit more challenging, but with a little effort, it's absolutely doable. For instance, a tactile learner, those are the folks who learn best by touch. Having a downloadable or a printable workbook that they can fill out gives them the opportunity to involve the sense of touch as they pick up their favorite pen to jot down ideas, answer reflection questions, or even doodle alongside your lesson. Kinesthetic learners are ones who learn best with movement. This is where a private podcast that allows them to listen to your lessons on the go while walking the dog or doing the evening dishes can be really helpful. There have been many evenings in our home where I've listened to lessons while washing dishes, and I've been so thankful for the chance to be able to make the most of my time, but also to be able to consume the content in a slightly different way. Thinking about a course on personal style, there are lots of options here. As a course creator, we could have outfit pieces displayed on the camera. We could have downloadable templates for planning outfits. We might have a closet organizer guide. We could ask students to go to their closet and pull out their favorite outfit to have it sitting nearby during a particular lesson. I think the list here could be endless, right? The key is to have different ways to interact with material. It's more engaging, it's more memorable, it's more actionable. All things that we want for our courses. If this kind of sounds big, maybe bigger than some of the other tips, be sure to listen to the 60-second solution at the end of today's episode, because I'm going to break down the process for you and remove the anxiety it can cause to provide different learning opportunities within your course. Finally, tip 5. When creating engaging video content for a course, have you ever considered incorporating quizzes? Incorporating quizzes doesn't have to be like a middle school pop quiz that makes everyone sweat. It can be as simple as questions assessing what steps to take next and in what order, just to help students solidify the concepts they've learned. It could be questions about what idea resonated the most. By incorporating quizzes, you have this opportunity to recap ideas in a really unique and fun way. And when they submit the quiz, who doesn't love a great confetti page? And there are so many options out there for free confetti pages. Why not? For a course on personal style, it might be fun to ask questions about color combinations or choosing the best material for the purpose of your outfit, or ways to organize your closet so that it's easy to create power outfits in just a few seconds and no hair pulling necessary. Having a chance to solidify their knowledge and understanding also boosts their motivation to keep going in the course, so they stay more engaged. Okay, I promised you 5 tips in this episode for creating engaging video lessons. And we've gone through 5 tips. Advanced organizers, using stories, building in reflection, having different materials for different types of learners, adding in quizzes. But I couldn't leave you without this final tip, so here is a bonus tip. As we create videos for our students, time matters. Keeping video lessons to a max of 15 minutes will create a huge difference in whether students complete the video, remember the information, and put it into action, or simply stop and move on to something else. When there are easy to consume segments, they fit so much better into a busy life. There have been courses in my browser that I've had open for a very long time, and it's tough to get through them simply because the video length isn't conducive to my busy life as a homeschooling mom, as a college professor, and as an entrepreneur. Those shorter video lengths get the information and the time commitment to be so much more manageable. In a course on personal style, we can easily break down lessons into key concepts where there's just one concept per video. Even though it might mean you end up with more videos in your course than you originally planned, it will likely mean that those shorter videos allow students to follow through, especially if each lesson has a tangible action item to complete. If you are new to this show, this is always the point in the conversation where we talk about a specific action step that you can implement this week so that this episode does not become just another podcast episode that you listened to. I want you to take action because in order to achieve our goals and dreams, we have to take meaningful action each step of the way. So today's action step is to choose just one tip to implement in your course or into the course that you're planning. You might be thinking, but Dr. Moira, they all sound important. They are. But too often we can get stuck in trying to implement too much at once. This week, just choose one tip. If you already have advanced organizers in your course, great. Maybe now is the time to explore creating more stories or building in reflection. It doesn't matter which tip you choose. The key is to implement it. And if you get stuck while you're implementing one of the tips from today's episode, I'm here to help. Today, we have talked about 5 ways to create engaging course videos that don't require you to be a genius at video editing, and you are now ready to take action by adding in proven engagement tools to your course. From using stories, to offering an advanced organizer, to asking reflection questions, building quizzes, embracing different learning styles, we can build courses that have students sitting glued to those lessons and implementing as they go. And if you chose tip 4 to implement, or you're considering it, at the end of this episode in the 60-second solution, I'll be sharing specific ideas for what to include in your videos so that they will appeal to all learning styles, because I've kind of found that tip number 4 creates a little bit of angst, a little bit of anxiety. So I'm going to cover that for you in more detail. Although today and every week on the Digital Course Creator Podcast, I'm openly sharing ideas and tools for creating a course that's profitable and messaging that attracts your ideal students, all with the goal of helping you become the 6-figure course creator, I've realized that success in any area of life requires strategy. And there are so many places that we can get insights into what strategy we could use. There are books, there are podcasts, we have digital courses at our fingertips. But so often, we still consistently struggle when it comes to making progress. And the question is why? It's because whatever change we want in our lives is probably around 10% or less what we read and study, and over 90% mindset. That 90% mindset piece means that we all benefit from personalized help. If you are ready to become a profitable course creator and implement today's action item, but you find yourself getting stuck, or maybe you're not sure which tip to implement, or you just like an extra set of eyes on your plan, I always keep at least 2 slots open on my calendar each week to help course creators figure out their goals, think about the strategy that they need to make those goals happen and get unstuck. These are free, no obligation calls. And if you know already that you'd like one-on-one coaching and personalized help at some point, you can join the waitlist today so that when you're ready for extra support and guidance, you'll have a spot. So let's make the next 12 months the year you go from being an uncertain course creator to a 6-figure course creator by grabbing a strategy call at coursecalls.com. You can also find the link in the show notes, but again, it's coursecalls.com. As a course creator, do you ever struggle with engaging your students with your video lessons? Today's 60-second solution is all about how to fix that with just a few steps by addressing different learning styles in your lessons. First up, you can offer summarized notes from the lesson as well as provide on-screen bullet points, graphs, relevant pictures, and even video examples within your video. This will help out your visual learners. For the auditory learners, you might consider a private podcast for your video lessons. This allows your students to put those earbuds in and listen to the content you're sharing without any distractions. You can also have some fun and create mnemonic devices. Channel your inner middle school, high school math days and the saying, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." Finally, for our kinesthetic and tactile learners, try adding in activities that use all of the senses. Maybe they can work with different materials to see how something functions or review additional concepts or activities. The key to engagement is to provide a variety of opportunities for students to get involved in a way that works the best for them. Don't be afraid to try different things. Want more solutions for course creators? Make sure to hit follow now.